Coach JR here from Believe Elite Athletic Training. Really nice day today outside. I'm sweating bullets. I'm here with Ryan Rodriguez.
What's going on?
And we are going to talk about a very serious topic. Everybody goes through this at one point in their life, and probably more than just once in your life. Ryan just had some life-changing decisions to make, so he's going to talk a good amount through the podcast. But I'm here to chime in on my own experiences. Obviously, there's a pretty good age gap between me and Ryan. I started coaching Ryan when he was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, maybe even younger than that. Maybe freshman. Yeah.
So let's say like 15 years oldish.
Yep.
And you are now
21. 22 in a couple days.
22 in a couple days, and I'm 36 years old. So this is a good blend, though, because you and I always have mature conversations. And again, you're an athlete, you're an adult, you're finishing up your last year of college right now. Which, by the way, are you done now?
I'm completely done with college.
College grad, basically, right here, Binghamton University. I also graduated from Binghamton University. So, kind of crazy how life sneaks up on you.
Moves fast.
But I'm going to let Ryan just take it away. And, like I said, I'll chime in when I feel the need.
Yeah. So, overall, before we jump into anything, the overall arching topic of this podcast is sort of, what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice anything to go after your goals? And the way that I'm going to present the message is sort of through an experience I've had recently. And unfortunately, I'm not going to get into details, obviously, but I've had to split ways with a girl that I've dated for 6-7 years, since I was 14 years old, and I'm now 21. And it wasn't really about anything personal. There was no animosity, but it was more because I was sort of approaching a crossroads in my life where I really had to start. If I was going to go after the dream of being a pro golfer, I was really going to have to double down on the hours I put in. I was going to have to double down on, making golf be my full focus. And at first, emotions were running really high. I started thinking about all the great memories. I started thinking about, what could be. I started thinking about all the negative stuff in the future. And my mind was racing. And it took a couple of days. It was a very jarring experience for me. I spent time laying down on the couch crying. I spent time going for walks. It was nothing that I've ever experienced before, having to make such a tough decision. But ultimately, I realized that if I'm going to go after what I want to go after, and that's to be a professional golfer, then I need, at this age in my life, at this stage in my life, to put me first. And I need to be my own hero. No one's going to come out and save me, no matter how much a person loves me or family or anyone. I reached a point where I had to go and sort of really double down on practicing and double down on this dream of becoming a golfer that I have. So, ultimately, I don't know if it's the right choice. I don't know if it's the wrong choice, but what I do know is I made the choice with the intention of, doing whatever I had to go after my goal, which is, it was tough, but I figured, it'd be something cool to talk about on the podcast.
Well, I was just looking at my phone because I know you're a Michael Jordan guy, and
The Last Dance is awesome, by the way.
It's unbelievable. We could probably spit out about 10 more podcasts just about that.
Yeah.
But I saw this really cool quote the other day on Instagram, and I can't find it right now, but Jordan said it, and it was just basically about you're gonna have obstacles, but you got to be willing to go around them, go through them, whatever it might be. And there's so many challenges that you're gonna deal with in life. I mean, at any age. But you sacrifice a lot, and Ryan and I were just talking about some things before we started this podcast, and really, the window of your career trying to go for pro athletics, be a pro golfer it's ridiculously small. Like we have the be the 1% board. It is like a 1% shot you got to actually say I'm a pro.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not comfortable at all, and you're definitely going to have to make very uncomfortable choices and potentially hurt some people down the road and hurt yourself. Like you said, you're sitting on the couch crying. Like obviously it was not easy to do that, and you felt pain. She felt pain, and you're probably going to feel pain for a while. Obviously you loved her, you cared about her, and unfortunately, that's just life. And I hate to say it that way because I feel like everybody always just says, "Oh, it's life." But I made a big decision and a sacrifice when I was younger to take a job with Department of Homeland Security. And when I got the phone call to do it, they were like, "All right, you have to move to Georgia, and you're going to live in Georgia for 6 months." And I lived in Georgia for 6 months. I didn't see any of my friends. I didn't see my family. I didn't come home once. And there were times where I was like, "This shit sucks." Like I was ready to leave. Luckily, I made some good friends along the way, and that's really what I wanted to kind of sway this to is, well, one door might close or it's almost closed. Another door could open tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And you said you're doubling down on your hours on the course and you're doubling down on your efforts. You might now, with the additional time that you have and what you're trying to pursue, there might be, especially right now, like people are traveling all over the place on golf courses. Like times are different now.
Yeah.
You might come across a pro golfer at one of the courses you're at, and if you didn't make the sacrifice, you may never have met that person.
Yep.
So it's weird how the world works. It's weird how life is, but I think what you did is honorable. Again, I know very hard to do, but you do have to double down.
Yeah, and I want to really clarify something, is that this was not anyone's fault, or this was totally on me. It wasn't as if somebody or she was holding me back. It was more of the fact that you have to take care of yourself before you could take care of somebody else. And I realized that I didn't really understand what I was feeling off about. But now that this has happened, I sort of see the picture a lot clearer. I just wasn't feeling like I was on a mission, right? Like I didn't feel like I was where I needed to be. And I didn't know what I needed to do to sort of get back on the grindstone and get back on my mission. But now that certain things have happened and I've taken action, I once again feel like, I'm back on a mission. And I have that feeling of self-fulfillment and confidence. Now, I have not completely moved on, and it's not as if I've forgotten everything that has come before me or come before to get me to this point. But right now, in this instance, I'm starting to see I'm starting to see the light in terms of the path that I have to take to create the recipe that's going to lead me to success.
Yeah, man. And again, I've said it probably 6 to 8 times since we started getting back into these podcasts, and I mean you're a very mature 22-year-old guy. I still remember when I was 22 and I was not making decisions like you were making decisions. I had 4 or 5 different part-time jobs, and I was kind of pissed off at everything because I was like, I'm a college grad, I got a degree, where's my job? Yeah. Where's my career? But at that time, I will say this, when I was like 22 to 24 years old, I got really selfish. I stepped up fitness to a level where I became obsessed. Like you say, you were on a mission.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah, I did not go out.
Yeah.
My buddies used to be like, "Yo, what's up, man? You used to party all the time with us. Now you don't even come out. You're going to bed earlier. I was hitting the gym. My diet was crazy. I used to write down everything I ate every day. And I was trying to pursue different careers in fitness.
awesome.
And yeah, I mean, I look back on that time, and again, like it was just me. Like, I was very selfish.
When you say that, like, people think being selfish is not a good thing. I obviously there's a fine line, but I think every person needs the opportunity to be selfish so that they can find
no doubt
something and learn something about themselves.
Yeah.
It's not really until you lose something where you realize, where the picture becomes clearer. And it really sucks that it has to happen the way that it has to happen sometimes. But at the end of the day, I like what Michael Jordan said on The Last Dance when his dad died. He said, "My dad taught me one thing, and that was to turn every negative situation into a positive." And, well, that's like what I tried to take into account here is like, if I wanted to cry myself to sleep every night, trust me, I have enough at stake to do that. If I wanted to feel sorry for myself, my mom would be more than willing to make me comfort meals and, to pat me on the back every night.
Yep.
But instead, I have that opportunity to turn this into a positive and just take this time to be selfish in the good way and to see how far can I stretch myself? How far can I push myself? Where can I go? Like, the opportunities are endless. You mentioned one day you picked up and moved to Georgia. If you were in a relationship with someone, you wouldn't be able to do that. It would be unfair to that person.
Yep.
I want that freedom to be able to do that so I can see what I can handle. And that's pretty cool.
It is cool. And, again, like, I mean, I'll say it and, not trying to go out of my way to comfort you, but when I was in that selfish mode, that's when I learned the most about fitness. Yeah. And I self-educated. I read a ton of books. I experimented with different nutrition. I experimented with different workouts. And I'm here today, and when I talk to people and I give nutrition advice and I give workout advice, the advice I'm giving is because I've been through it. People ask me about 17 different diets. I've probably tried all of them. I know exactly how my body reacts to low carbs, no carbs, keto, carb cycling, and this, that, and the other thing, intermittent fasting. I've done all of that. So I coach athletes on all those different realms. HIIT training, hypertrophy training, 5-3-1 workout splits. I've done all of it. So when I talk about this stuff, it was that time period where I just immersed myself with this stuff, honestly. And I did that, I did it for like a period of 7 years. Even when I had my job with the government, I was still kind of a loner, but I would not be here today and I would not have the life I have if I didn't make the choice to. It was a week. They're like, you need to move to Georgia in a week.
That's awesome.
And I was like, shit. Yeah. But I didn't have anything, like you said, keeping me.
No.
And yeah, circumstances would have been completely different. Listen, the other thing too is I was a federal agent. If I had a family, kids, and a house at the time that when I left, I would not have left. So, I made a sacrifice to leave a career that right now, in the moment we're in, life-wise, it's not the greatest position to be a fucking business owner.
No.
I'm sitting in it. Yeah. I haven't opened my doors in 3 months.
Yep.
If I was still working with the government, I'd be fine. Money rolling in, be driving my BMW that I used to have, and life would be fine. So, again, though, like, the decisions you make, if you are willing to double down on yourself, and you really believe in what you're trying to do, you really believe that you're going to get to a pro level, or not even that you get there, you just give it 110%. I feel like one of the worst things you can do is look back and just regret shit.
Yeah.
Like, be like, why didn't I try that? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And some of it's fear.
Yeah.
A lot of it's probably fear. You don't want to let people down. You're fearful you're going to let your family down. You're fearful you're going to break somebody's heart. You're fearful you're going to get hurt. There's so much fear, right? But, it's either fear is, face everything and run, right? Is that right? And then I forget the other one. But basically it's like you're either going to go or you're not.
Yeah.
And that's anything you really go after.
And when you operate at 110%, like when you give your absolute best no matter what and leave nothing on the table, you really can't make a bad choice.
No.
Like something will always fall its way. In golf, which is, people always make the comparison to life, you know, if you play a really good round of golf, there's a 100% chance that your ball is going to do something that you could not have accounted for. It might hit a rock and go into the trees. It might plug into the bunker. It might hit the flagstick and shoot into the water. But if you stay in your routine, if you stay true to your game plan and stick to that, like at the same rate that it hits the flagstick and goes to the water, maybe the next hole you hit that rock and it goes 3 feet from the pin, or maybe, you know, hits that car path and jumps back in the fairway. As many bad blows as you take, there's good ones right around the corner, and as long as you're out there actively searching for it.
Yeah, and you put those hours in.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really believe in luck. I think you kind of make your own. You know.
Yeah.
But you make your own with the choices that you decide to go after. You know, and that's really any level of person, any level of athlete. You know, right now is actually a perfect time. And listen, that's the other side of this. You know, you made a big decision in a time where it's very unique right now. Yeah. Like, you don't even know when your next tournament's going to be. You know, like,
they're getting canceled left and right.
So. Right. So, you know, to make a decision like you made and to continue to push and go after your dream, like I said before, I think it's honorable. I definitely, you know, again, knowing you for so long, I mean, you know, I still remember you telling me your high school goals, you know, and one of these podcasts we talked about the vision board you created, and you've always been very serious about the path that you wanted to take.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. You see, like, different things come onto your path, and you're either gonna put them on your back and go, or you're gonna have to say, "Hey, I got to keep going. I can't stop now." And again, the athletic career is very small. The window is and your window's closing. Like, that's the reality. Like, you
100% is.
I mean, you just had your senior year taken, so that window was slammed shut.
Yeah.
You know, you have no options. You have no choice now.
Yeah.
So if you want to continue with your sport at a competitive level, you got to go for the pro level.
I mean, that's 100% true. And I played this morning, and I was talking to one of my friends that I compete with, and we play money matches together. And I'm just really grateful to be on a mission. Like, there's an empowering piece to sort of getting home late at night and waking up early every morning and being exhausted, but knowing that you're working and getting closer, inching closer every day to the greater goal. And that, like, if you're out there and you keep procrastinating on a tough decision, whatever that might be, like, I'm on the other side now telling you that it's worth the leap. If you're going to treat it the right way, if you're going to give 110% and go full force, sick.
No, it is awesome. And you know, we could sum up what you just said with just some quick stuff. And again, we've been talking about this topic for quite some time, and I feel like you could talk about it all day. Is your mentality is different. And you just said something that's pretty special, like basically waking up, going on my mission, getting home late, and repeat. You found your why. You found exactly what you want to do. And part of my book that I wrote, The Unbeatable Mindset, the first week of it is you really have to buckle down and find your why. And there's very tough questions that you have to ask yourself. And there's also very tough decisions you need to make. And this whole podcast is talking about the big sacrifice you made.
And when you're not in that mind state, if you're not in that, if you're not doing your why, like, little things just bother the shit out of you. Like, it's just so out of whack. Like, I remember, you know, like, if I didn't have a text message, I would get upset. Or, like, if I didn't eat the right thing, it was just worrying about so many things that didn't matter. But now, because I'm on that mission, like, everything just rolls off my back. I just feel confident, and I feel excited for the future. And, you know, I might play bad, but it's no longer like, oh my God, I just played bad. Like, I know that I'm gonna play bad. I'm gonna go practice and then I'm gonna play again, and everything's gonna be great. And I'm so grateful for every day that I wake up and I get to go after it again.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. You can hear in your voice that you're obviously passionate about the sport. You're passionate about the process, which is something that me and you have talked about. And you said it. You said you already played today.
Yeah, and I'm gonna play again after this.
So you're looking at.
Actually, it's funny. There's been 4 days since I broke up. I've played 8 rounds of golf. Now, one round takes about 4 hours. I've played 8 rounds the last 4 days, and I've driven to Kingston, to Pennsylvania, to Matamoros, to Port Jervis. Like, I'm all over the place, just playing money matches, just getting after it. My car, I've had to fill it up 2 times. I don't think I've slept in a very long time. I get home 9:30 every night, and my mom asks me, "You were playing all this time again?" And I say, "Yep." And I take a shower, and I go right to bed, and I wake right back up again and do it again. And I'm literally not making it up when I say, like, it's just you just feel grateful for being able to do that.
I know, and I've been there, so I know exactly what you're saying. I'm kind of there all the time. Like, even right now, I'm not really over stressing this whole quarantine thing. I have enough confidence in myself as a coach, in my business that I created, and I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I went and I teamed up with a buddy of mine who owns a gym also about 30 minutes from here, and he said, he's like, dude, this isn't that bad because you're gonna see who's faking it. You'll see who's just faking it to make it.
I was faking it.
Well, you just threw the honesty card right out there. But dude,
I was faking it.
There you go.
I was getting on these podcasts and I was talking all of this shit, and at the end of the day, I was not putting my money where my mouth was.
And it's hard to do it, man. It's hard to be consistent with it, and you're gonna ruffle some feathers here and there. Life's hard. It's hard. Doing what you want to do is very hard, and keeping it real with yourself. Like, there's so many guys out there like a David Goggins with his cookie jar.
Yeah.
Or the accountability mirrors, or Jocko Willink with his 4 a.m. clock. Or The Rock. I feel like The Rock never fucking sleeps. So you try to make yourself that 1%, but the biggest thing is the consistency part of it. It's very easy to fake shit.
So easy.
You see it.
Especially if you surround yourself with people that are going to be proud of you no matter what.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's also
when I'm alone and I don't have anybody that tells me I'm the best, and I know, like, because you always know, like, even if your grandma says we're proud of you, if you're doing. I like one time they interviewed Tiger when he was 16, and they asked him, he was playing his first PGA Tour event. They asked him, well, what are your goals for your first PGA Tour event? And he looked in the camera and he said, well, I want to win. And they said, well, don't you think that's a little ridiculous? Like, you're 16 years old and then you're playing with the best players in the world. These guys do this as a career. They said, shouldn't you just be, like, happy with the fact that, you're here? And he said, no, like, those are your expectations. Like, your expectations think that, like, it's great that I'm here. My expectations are a lot higher than your expectations. I play from my expectations. So, like, I've always felt that. Like, I've always felt that I have a really group of supportive friends and family. But at the end of the day, like, I could feel it burning in me that, like, oh, you're not maximizing your potential. Not because you haven't accomplished something, but because you haven't really put in maximum effort. And now, once I lost something that was so near and dear to me, I decided that if I'm going to lose that, well, then this is my time to jump fully in and sink my head completely under the water. And that's what I'm doing. It's awesome.
It is awesome. You are doing something that a lot of people have a hard time doing, and again, with our talk of mentality and everything that we've been talking about for the past few weeks, you just nailed it with you have a personal standard for yourself. And if you can just stay on the road to fulfilling your personal standard, then there's no doubt in my mind that you'll be a pro golfer, and hopefully you'll be competing when the time comes. Yeah. But the other side of that is when the time comes, you want to be prepared.
Absolutely.
And if you're putting in 8 hours a day on a golf course, that's what it takes, you know?
Yeah. You can't fake that confidence. When you put the 8 hours in, that confidence is there.
Well, I was just going to say, you also can't fake the hours. You don't get that time back. You know, that's the biggest thing I think people don't understand is, like, time is such a valuable thing. And, you know, I say it a lot, but like the beggar and the billionaire thing, the beggar and the billionaire get the same 24 hours. You have the same 24 hours as Tiger Woods.
That's correct.
So if you figure out what he does and you try to duplicate it, replicate it, and level up, then hopefully in the next 3 to 6 months, you're at a point where you're playing in a tournament and you're getting interviewed. Yep. And they're like, doesn't it feel good to be here? Like, you lost your senior year of college, but this is the first competitive tournament you've really been in, and it's for a pro shot, and you're like, I want to win. Yep. Hopefully that is the interview.
I feel that, man.
It's cool. I see it, man. I see it. The fact that you said that, and you know, I know you've been a big fan of Tiger Woods for a very long time, and I know you've probably studied a lot of his books and watched a lot of him on a course playing. That's the thing about Ryan that, you know, again, I have a lot of confidence in Ryan because you're a student to the game. You're a student to a lot of different things. You actually get out of your comfort zone and try to learn more. Just from what you've done for me as a small business, like you know, you had a camera that you were messing around with back in the day. Yeah. And then it was like Ryan Rod Films, and you were doing edits, and we were going to different places, and now, you know, we're sitting here doing a podcast. And again, you made a sacrifice to come train with me at Believe when you were younger. You made sacrifices throughout high school to get to a level, you know, again, Division I athlete, full scholarship athlete, like that is the definition of sacrifice. The amount of kids that get a full ride to play sports, very few. And that's why I know, you know, you saying you're a man on a mission, I'm excited to hear about the mission, man.
It's awesome. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to get after it.
There you go. And I don't want to talk about it either. So we are done with this podcast. This was a good one. This is a long one, but I hope you guys listen to the whole thing. Social media, you can follow us. Please follow us. Facebook, Believe Elite Athletic Training. YouTube channel, this will be on the YouTube, right? So we will have this on the YouTube channel and also on our website. So the YouTube channel is Believe Elite Athletic Training. Subscribe to it. Give us some feedback. Let us know other topics you guys want to hear about. And then also the website is BelieveYouAreElite.com. And you can find us on Instagram, Believe Elite Training. And that's about it. Enjoy the weather, all right? And summer's coming. Summer's rolling in hot. So let's put some work in. Thank you.